Good afternoon, guys. So for this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to make the Hopi bird snare. Now, it's named after the Hopi Indians of Arizona, but it's quite prevalent throughout the American Southwest, so more people used it, and I'm fairly certain other parts of the world either use this same trap or a variation of it. So the basic premise is you have a stick, which is your anchor point, and on the stick, you go ahead and put some lines, some pieces of string, with some slip knots on them. Now, it's used to get small birds such as dove or quail, grouse. Now, at the time that we're filming this, it's September, so it's dove season. That's really what I'm trying to go for. So, as an example, I'm going to use my Jurassic Park toy, some old toy here, because it has similar feet to a bird. So let's just use this as an example. The animal's pecking around. We put some seeds here, so it's eating, it's going about its business. Eventually, its foot gets caught in one of these loops. As it walks, it closes. Now the animal cannot fly away. It's stuck here. So it's not a lethal trap. You're going to have to, when you come check it later on that day or the next morning, you did catch something, you just give it the finishing blow, and you got yourself a bird to eat. So most guys like to use a smaller stick and then anchor that stick to a big rock. I don't. I rather just get a thicker log and just use that as my anchor point. Okay, so this is the basic premise. Then I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate how to make a slip knot, in case you don't know how. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, now for the knot. I'm using crochet thread that I got from Walmart. Some guys like to use the inner strands of paracord. I do not, because the inner strands, after a couple days with the elements, they start noodling up. They look like ramen, and they're just basically useless. I've heard some people use dental floss. I've never tried that. And surely the Indians, they didn't have any of that, so they used some more primitive cordage, such as yucca strands or even hair. But we're just trying this out, see how this works. So I'm just gonna cut out a good piece, not too long. Okay, and I'm gonna use my leg as a backdrop, since this kind of tends to blend into the environment. So just burn the end, so it's not fraying on me. Okay, so I'm going to make a loop. Now, if you notice, the playing end is over this. It's over the other line, so it's above it, see? Okay, hold it with your fingers. The playing end, bring it down and bring it up on the loop. Bring it down again, and it somewhat resembles a pretzel at this point. And then you're going to bring the end of it once again through this loop up here, the left-hand side one. Bring it up here, grab it with your fingers, tighten it, pull it, and there you go. So once again, to demonstrate, similar sized feet and designed feet like a dove. Gets caught in it as it walks, it closes up, and now the animal cannot get away from there. And that's basically it. So we attach this to our log, and it doesn't really matter much how you tighten it on your log, as long as it's a sturdy knot that it won't unravel when the animal panics or anything like that. So okay. Also, because they're strings, when there's there's high winds or anything like that, the weather's just crazy, it starts just tangling these up. They start moving around. So we're going to use some dirt and just cover this. Also helps with a little bit of camouflage too. There we go. Okay, so now we set some bait. Okay, let's put some seeds. So if this is just bird seed mixed with some pomegranate seeds. I originally wanted to try some cactus fruit since that bright maroon color I'm sure would get their attention. Birds have really good eyesight, so when they're flying and they see something purple that stands out from this usual greens and browns, I'm sure they would be tempted. And this is just a few yards from our trap. If you notice in this mud, there's a lot of bird tracks. A lot of bird tracks. So they're here often. In fact, this morning when I came to set my first one, we saw about a good 15 birds flying away, doves. There's a lot of feathers, droppings, so they're definitely in this area. So when you're setting a trap, make sure you set it where you see a lot of activity of the animal you're going for. Okay, so this is the finished product. Okay, the loops are baited, and then they have some sand on them. Now, just like with every trap, this is a numbers game. You really want to set more than one because it just raises your chances of catching something to eat. So this is actually my third one that I've set today. Again, I'm going to just check them all later on tonight. So once again, the Hopi bird snare is just a stick or a log that you attach a couple of strings to them. Now on the strings you're going to make slip knots so you can catch on the bird's foot, and you attract the birds with some seeds. So once again, we're using just bird seed and pomegranate, and then we just put just a little bit of dirt so we can weigh down the strings so they're not flying around, you know, if it's a windy day. So just like with any traps, guys, it's a numbers game. So you want to set more than one, different areas, and you always want to set them where you see a lot of animal activity. So in this particular area, this is my third trap, and there's so many footprints and feathers and droppings in this area. Even this morning when I set my first one, there was like 15 doves that just flew away. So for sure they're here, and I set 3 different ones as of right now. So I'm gonna go ahead and just check them again at sunset today. If I didn't catch anything, I'll check them again tomorrow morning. Okay guys, so hopefully if all goes as planned, my next video is gonna be on how to go ahead and process and cook a dove. Okay, well that concludes this video once again, and I'll see you guys next week. Now go outside and get your boots dirty.